also digital. I'm going to talk about the Hot Dispatch website for a bit, and take some questions, and then make a quick announcement about Macintosh Common List for digital. A little overview history of the company. We were founded in 1999 in Cambridge by our housing society president, Andrew Bloomberg. We got some money from Sun Microsystems to do a prototype for their marketplace for their Java developers, which we launched in July 1999. In October of that year, we got our first venture capital funding round, at which point the company headquarters moved to California, to this area, and the small group of the original LIST programmers stayed back in Cambridge to continue development there. In November 2000, we got our second venture capital round. At the time, it was not very easy to get money. However, in June of 2001, our VCs divested, and the company reorganized. We relocated back to Cambridge and sort of ended up with the same initial group of LIST programmers. What is Hot Dispatch? It is an online meeting place for buyers and sellers of web deliverable services, products. Web deliverable services, technical support, answering questions people have about various topics, subjects, remote contract development, doing essentially programming and other work, all mediated by the Hot Dispatch site. Web deliverable products are, for instance, pre-rendered software programs people have, custom-written software that we make to some of the specifications, anything that can be uploaded as a file, images or whatever. The current focus is on expertise exchange for information technologies, so software, programming, hardware things like voice over IP, call managers, etc. We operate what we call knowledge marketplaces, which are sort of co-branded sub-areas of Hot Dispatch, where we work with a partner corporation. And we have one for Cisco, specifically their voice over IP or IP telephony division, for Palm, and for IBM Developer Works. There are actually a lot of others on the site too, but these are the main ones. The current services that Hot Dispatch offers: questions and answers marketplace, project outsourcing. These are both what we call tasks, and the main difference is that for questions and answers, you post a question and you can accept a bunch of different answers for it from people, and pay divide up the payment among them. Projects, generally, there's a bidding mechanism where a bunch of potential providers for the project, people who can solve it or do it, will bid on it, and you'll select one out of those, and that's going to be the person or the provider who does the project. A digital products marketplace, where a digital product is basically a file that you upload, and those are placed in things called office fronts, which are transaction-enabled sort of company sub-websites that are hosted on the Hot Dispatch website. Those are analogous to Yahoo Store sorts of sub-websites, except that we support listing of expertises and also the digital products as opposed to real products. There's also something called the money mail service, which is basically answering questions via Hot Dispatch, but all done through email, with just a minimal of the actual web-based UI, which would be something that's targeted toward technical support for a company. A little diagram down below where we have, on the one side, requesters or buyers post questions, they post projects, they are willing to pay for them, or they buy digital products. On the other side, we have the providers who answer the questions, do the projects. They post their office fronts, which are the digital products that they have for sale. How the marketplace works. On the side, we have the requesters. There's a database of all the members. Let's just fill this out. The providers list their areas of expertise. Those are then matched up with the categories that the requesters specify for their various tasks. There's a taxonomy, fairly rich taxonomy, covering all different areas. So you can target the people that you want to solve your particular task. The requesters enter information about how they're going to pay, whether it's via credit card or via an account that they maintain with Hot Dispatch, that they can fund through PayPal or sending checks, or making money by answering questions through the projects. And there's a rating system which goes both ways, which we'll get to. So the transaction methodology is a requester or a buyer posts a question or project, specifies the amount offered for an answer, which you divide up among answers, and any time constraints there are for projects, plus other information which we won't go into. So for instance, say you post an XML question and answer, you're willing to pay $25 for it. And you say that you'll take up to 5 answers. Very quickly, sometimes, 5 people will reply with their proposal or their answers. And you then pick the one that you like best, say in this case number 4, and you can either pay him all the $25, or you can divide it up among others. And there are mechanisms for tipping people if they do better than expected. And then after that, there's reputation management, which is similar to eBay's ratings. The buyer will rate all of the providers on the quality or the speed of their answers. The providers in turn will rate the buyer on certain aspects like fairness, how quick he was to do the payment, and the provider ratings are all averaged out. So that when you come to the site as either a requester or a provider, and you're thinking about using someone or solving someone's question, you can see what their ratings are, whether they can be trusted or not, or whether they have high quality answers. I'm going to use some quick screenshots to walk through the site. This is the home page. From it, you can get quickly to the various sub-areas, posting questions, posting projects, or if you're a provider, looking at the listings of questions and projects to see if there's one that you want to solve. Digital products, listing them or uploading them, and office fronts, which is your personal area for putting digital products and listing your expertise, or if you want to go to a listing of office fronts to see what's there. This is called the question reader. It's the interface for viewing listings of questions. The model is UI is based on a mail reader. On the left, you can drill down into the taxonomy hierarchy of categories. And if you click on one of the links, you'll see on the right a listing of the questions under that category. I'll show you the relevant columns. You see the mouse. There's the price that the buyer is willing to pay, the categories it's listed under, an indication of how many answers they're willing to accept, the maximum, plus how many how many solutions have been posted. Yeah. So you can tell whether or not it's already full, it's not going to take anymore, or whether you're going to be the first one to answer it. The subject, the question, and the profile of the person who posted it. And the profile information is generally anonymous. You don't see the actual person's email or anything about them except that they want you to. The real information about their name and address is kept private to Hot Dispatch. And finally, the data is posted. This is a view of a particular question. The information from the columns is repeated up top. There's the text of the question. If any clarifications need to be added after it's initially posted, the requester can do that. If you go to solve the question, it's similar to replying to an email. You get the quoted text of the question, and you can add your solution at the bottom. You can also attach files to it, upload files. You can actually attach files to the question and the solutions that come in. This is a similar interface to something which we archive mailing lists and news groups in a similar manner to the listings of questions. So this is the Info MCL mailing list. You can see some familiar names probably here. And you can use this interface to post responses onto the mailing list or to view them. Similarly for news groups, same interface. This is the comp.lang.list news group. You can look at the individual entries, drill down into them, post to them, etc. Here is the page for posting projects. It's similar to questions. There's more information that you enter for the project because there's a sort of reading mechanism to choose the provider that you like best. Here's a listing of projects. There's various browsing pages where you can drill down into the various categories and see what's listed at various levels of the taxonomy. Similar information as to questions. You see the prices on the right. Say negotiable, there's various models for how you're willing to pay. And these are the initial prices, so the actual price of the project, once you go back and forth with the bidders, will likely change or might change. Application catalog, in this case, is another word for digital products. These are, this is software or any kind of digital product which people have posted for their office fronts. There's a listing here of recent ones. You'll see these fairly expensive ones for the Cisco voice over internet call managers, which is one of the newer areas of the site. This is a browsing page for the software, the digital products. Software is sort of a catch-all category for these. And you'll see listed MCL, various MCL versions under digital office. And another view of listings of digital products is via pictures that the office front owners upload for the products. Under each picture is a link to that product, and underneath it is the name of the product and then the name of the office front. There's also links, the link to the office front where it was posted. This is actually the same page scrolled down. And we're going to look at one posted by someone named, his profile name is Claudia. This is Claudia's office front. It's a single page office front. There's various kinds of office fronts that you can set up. And he's put a picture of himself. If you look at the provider and requester ratings, or at least the provider rating, you'll see that he's actually posted several hundred solutions to questions. So he's a very active user of Dispatch. Some information he's added about himself, etc. Buttons for quickly posting him a question on a project. This is a listings page for office fronts. Similar layout to the other kinds of listing pages. We drill down into the categories. The listings for office fronts show various geography information. If you choose to show that country, city, state, so you can find providers in your area if that's important. This is what we call multi-page office front. This is for digital or MCL. Up top, there's a bunch of links to the various pages that make up this office front. Right now, we're looking at the products page, and we can see an MCL. descriptions listed here and down below. You can see that the two sample files, which you can download for free, are the MCL demos. So the office front can have, or digital product can have free sample files uploaded. FAQ, the site allows you to build a frequently asked questions list and maintain that yourself, and it shows up automatically. A support page describing your support policies, and a news page. Each office front has its own news items. These news items, which we add through the site, show up in a member news directory. Here it is. So you can see all the various news items that have been posted recently on the site. This is the Cisco IP telephony sort of homepage for their partner area or affiliate area for our site. If there are requests, we do the sort of custom look for it. I guess it looks like one of their IP telephones. This is a sub-area for a list, which you can see in the listing down here. For each of the categories, it shows the number of tasks that are pending and the number of experts. And there actually aren't any tasks pending for list on our site now, but there are quite a few people who have specified that they are experts in some area of the list. Some related features, things that we went over a few of these, but there's a corporate account facility where a company can manage a bunch of hot dispatch accounts and fund it and keep track of the users or employees that are using it to get project started, questions answered, or tech support. An internal and external messaging system, messages sent between members or between providers and requesters can be listed on the site, plus they're sent to each other via email. If you specify that you want to get email. And the benefit of that is that the site hides the actual email addresses of people using it. So you can, for better or worse, you can hide behind a provider profile or an office front without giving away their email address for the scammers or whatever. We send out various kinds of email notifications when tasks that match your expertise, your listed expertise, appear. You can get an email notification. You can say you have them sent a digest form every day, every week, every month. You can get notifications when people purchase your digital products, etc. And those are all specified via preferences when you set up your account. Go ahead with your account. The architecture of the hot dispatch system. In between hot dispatch and the outside world, we have various kinds of proxy servers, including SSL, etc., firewall, load balancing setup to provide requests from various servers. The application or app servers are what do most of the work of hot dispatch transactions. Various support servers, which include email notifications, sending out digests, handling credit card transactions. We also have some full text indexing servers, which sort of sit there in the background, index all the text of descriptions of questions, the titles, solutions, clarifications, and the indexes are updated by the application servers when things change. That gives us a very fast full text search facility. We have what we call static generators. These generate some of the browsing pages where if you drill down into categories to look at listings, the database queries could make those pages very slow. So what we actually do is we generate those sort of in the background, update them when necessary, and we have a huge directory of sort of like what I call a web spinner of all these pages, so that when you access one, you will get it almost instantaneously instead of having to wait for the database queries. The newsreader is a separate module which reads the news groups and the mailing lists and makes an archives the entries, makes them available for the Hot Dispatch interface, and finally a module which handles the uploading of files, digital products, and attachments to questions and solutions, etc. Puts limits on the file sizes, etc. On the internal network, on the back end, there's a database, an Oracle database, and a shared file system, which is used for the static generated pages to show, and also for uploaded files so that have been uploaded. This is a block diagram of one of the application servers of the Hot Dispatch transaction engine. The outside world is shielded from it by a proxy firewall setup. Components of it are basically an HTTP server, and all of this in the center block is part of the written by us, part of the Hot Dispatch site off the shelf. An HTTP server, a compact one, written in Lisp. There's some session management, so you're accessing your account. There's various authentication methods. There's various record caching that happens in your session. We have HTML templates with custom embedded server tags. We process these server tags basically are Lisp functions which call into the core code of the Hot Dispatch engine for handling user accounts, preferences, information about your expertises, etc. Corporate accounts, if they're set up that way. The task engine, which handles all the interaction between requesters and providers for questions and projects. Questions done via the question reader. Office funds, the digital products that live in Office funds, and the messaging system. These all, or most of them, make use of a record caching system we wrote to minimize accessing the database, because that would be one of the slowest parts. So all kinds of records and sequences of records and information about records are cached in Lisp, in memory, to keep things going fast. There's a module called dblink that we wrote, which is used to talk to Oracle over the internal net very quickly over TCP/IP. We couldn't find an off-the-shelf solution that did what we wanted that was efficient enough. This is a table of the various pieces and which language they're written. So you can see that we have a lot of it written in Lisp, some C. SQL generally means that there are embedded SQL queries within the language, so I included it here. The HTTP server is just Lisp. The Hot Dispatch engine is mainly Lisp, and there's some times when it needs to the database to get information, so SQL is represented there. dblink module is just written in C. Credit card processing is one of those support servers written in Lisp. Part of it is C code that the credit card authority sends you for a secure connection to SQL and works off the database. Email digests, or the digesters we call it, the various mailbox readers, all of them in Lisp, some SQL in the database. The full text indexer is again Lisp code with some database access in SQL. The static web page generator is Lisp. SQL. The newsgroup, the mailing list, archiver, those are Java. And file upload processing, SQL records are kept in the database about uploaded files, and that again is written Java. And there's a little bit of Perl here for the static web generators, since they do a lot of file system things, so setting up these huge directories, there's some Perl code to help manage that. Wireless. This is sort of preaching to the converted, go through the reasons. Rapid development, we had to get this prototype running for Sun in just a few months. There were only 2 programmers who knew Lisp, and it was our favorite language. So we got that done. High productivity, the language itself, and the people who generally program in it. A very small team. Helps with overhead issues of reading code and keeping things consistent. very important to make real-time fixes to the site, make changes, and add code. The site evolved and is still evolving very fast, and things get added all the time. And because it's live, if there's a problem, you really have to fix it right away. And that makes it very adaptable, or as I would say, agile. The availability of programmers, when we started in Cambridge, it wasn't a problem getting Lisp programmers. Maintainability and code readability. There's sort of two aspects of this. When we had new programmers, they'd come up to speed quickly because they can understand the Lisp code that's already there. And on the other side, when we lose programmers and we downsize, the remaining ones have to take over the code that's written by the others. And that's worked out very well for us. Initially, a benefit was access to MCL internals and developers. The first site was written almost entirely in MCL, and having the digital people available was a great help. Because if there was something we needed from MCL, we could get it right away. If there was something we needed to tweak in it, there wasn't a problem. A little bit about our Lisp versus Java experience. We did have a team of Java programmers, but the venture people and the new management wanted was to rewrite the system in Java, of course, and a bunch of people were hired and projects started there. Just some sort of quick numbers. There was a module of the system, which was the first one that the Java people decided to rewrite from Lisp to Java. It took about 4 man-weeks of Lisp programming to do the code and the content and pages. The Java team had 7 or 8 programmers, 1 manager, 2 content people, and to do the same thing. And it took them about 7 to 8 weeks just to get that duplicated, which is about a factor of 15 altogether. Cutting them some slack because it was, they were new to the project, maybe back in 10, 5 or whatever, but it was a big factor, and it kind of gave an idea of what it would take to actually translate the entire site over to Java. It would have been quite a feat. Relative code size, we make a lot of use of macros to define our various records and page objects. Java code needs all kinds of templates and definitions for the various tag libraries and things. We wrote some Lisp code to take our Lisp definitions and generate boilerplate Java templates. And when we do that, we notice that the size of the lines or pages of code just balloons out like a factor of 20 or 30. So to take a translation of the definitions of our site from Lisp to Java, you're just looking at voluminous amounts of code. So we actually commissioned a Java macro system with a Java sort of preprocessor where we could make Lisp-like macros to encapsulate a lot of this repetitive information in Java. However, shortly thereafter, the company was downsized, relocated to Cambridge. There was no need for Java anymore. Converted the Java-based code that was developed out west back into Lisp fairly quickly. Remains now. Platforms. The site runs on a variety of machines. Macintosh Common Lisp is used for all of the Lisp development. The code is all written in MCL and then deployed on Unix components in LispWorks. Works out pretty nicely. Off-the-shelf components like Oracle proxies, Apache proxies, Tomcat, etc. are used on Linux boxes. Some C code, DB-Link, database interface. Some Java code, a newsfeed reader, mail reader. Various off-the-shelf products for maintaining the internal integrity of the site. Like the environment is supposed to be just as I'm filling out the site. The development strategy for Dispatch. The Lisp code is all developed and tested in Macintosh Common Lisp. deploy it. We have a ListWorks compatibility package that we wrote, which offers things like process compatible interface for the process, multi-processing, a very minimal UI for things like a status window and menus. The running site doesn't actually need any UI except from the web. Networking, TCP stuff, various screening things, a little different. Startup and shutdown functions, cleaning things up, saving information out that preloaded, and some common utilities and efficiency and convenience functions. For testing, we have a bunch of different databases besides the live one. We have a development database, which is a lot smaller and quicker, that you can test things on very quickly, and a database that mirrors the live site in terms of the size of it, the complexity of it, so that we can test out how the changes would actually work before they're deployed to the real world. We can run the list-based servers, the application and support servers, on any machine where we have one of the lists. So Macintoshes, Windows, Unix boxes, under ListWorks, Macintoshes under Macintosh Common List. So we can run servers on our machines at home or in our office and make changes as long as we can connect to the development database and do productive work. For the ListWorks running the live site or one of the test sites, there's an Emacs-based list listener which Xanalyst provided, which works out really well. Our development strategies, this is the last slide about hot dispatch system. Performance is very important because we expect to have a huge website with billions of hits. So things have to happen very quickly. Lots of resourcing of allocated objects that need to be allocated down in Hain, essentially. Avoid the file system, preload, preprocess things like templates, any content that would normally come from the file system, get that all into RAM. Avoid the database. The database can be very slow for certain kinds of requests or on the road. So we have lots of strategies for caching records, sequences of records. We basically have a mapping between CLOS instances and Oracle records that we developed. Some of the content of some pages, initial browse pages, things that are statically generated but are accessed frequently from sort of portals to other parts of the site that have dynamic content. Those can be cached in a static format, and updated occasionally in the background so that you see them instantly, even though they would normally have to access some dynamic data from the database. And offloaded, static generated pages that I mentioned earlier. Modularity, we try to, wherever possible, implement various functions like the application transaction engine or credit card processing, whatever, as independent processes, so that we can just split up among whatever kinds of machines we have and the various speeds and capacities. We can say this machine is going to do credit card processing, this machine is going to handle mail digesting, and we can just very simply and quickly say, you run this process, you run this process, and it all just works together no matter where they are. Other general strategies we use, occasionally we'll dump and restore snapshots of various states of things, of records, that might be expensive to recompute, but can be easily gotten from a previous session and incarnation. We have various ways of communicating between the servers and the outside world. Some of them talk to each other on TCP, some use forwarding and email messages, some actually post little HTTP requests to each other, whatever we felt was appropriate. So pick and choose among those. And just some very rough numbers. we kept generally the list code that has to run to complete a transaction that for the user is always just a few milliseconds. As compared to a database request, which might take a few milliseconds, but could actually take several seconds or even longer if it was a complex one. Let's see. Okay. Given last night's discussion, we thought a little bit about how we might try to help grow the list community, what the Hot Dispatch website could do. If you have a list contribution, application, extension, DAP system, whatever, you can post it on Hot Dispatch. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to sign up or put stuff on it or get listed there. You can say whether people can download it for free or they can pay for it or your website to get it, etc. It'll get you exposure. If you have a list project you've done, post it as an RFQ or project or even a question on Hot Dispatch. Your profile information can be anonymous. You don't have to say exactly who you are. Give out your email address. Posting is free. You'll get exposure within the list community and also the overall Hot Dispatch community. The listings can be seen by anyone, regardless of which expertises you say you have or are interested in. And we have well over 65,000 people who have registered as experts, providers. And it'll serve the side benefit of recruiting new programmers. With the Cisco Call Manager, we saw that once they started posting projects, they got new programmers actually recruited into checking out what that technology was and deciding that they would try to learn it and solve it. So it was a nice side benefit. All of the above, we're going to set up a page that will be available next week. hotdispatch.com/list, which will let you do all the above and put guidelines and sort of a quick start mechanism so that you can get rolling to do that very directly, very quickly. So I'll take some questions now about this and then talk very quickly about those questions.
You mentioned the IBM developer site. What portions of the IBM developer site have you contributed to?
Sorry, I have
what portion of the IBM developer site have you contributed to?
It's not really their site. What it is it's a sub-area of Hot Dispatch where we add a tree sort of hierarchy to our taxonomy, which covers their products and their menu. And we do custom visual design, so that the part of the Hot Dispatch site, if you go to their area, it looks like what they've told us to make it look like, the images that they sent us.
But you get to it from Ask the Experts very on the section called Ask the Experts.
Yeah, they're generally cross-links between their sites that they maintain, their partners maintain, and our site. You can get from one to the other. Any other questions? Way in back.
That information about how many developers it took and how many lines of code and whatnot, is that posted anywhere where people can refer to that?
Not really.
It would be handy if you put a little remark about it on your site or something.
We could, well, our site's used by a lot of Java programmers. I mean, the site is actually, it's vendor and, language neutral. It might be something that would be interesting to go on one of the posted comparisons of lists to other languages.
You could stick it on an MCL.
We could.
Just a sort of a quick follow-up comment on this. I think in the course of the time where this was the report efforts reported to Java, we weren't really talking about what the underlying implementation was. Given that we're not doing that anymore at this time, I think it's okay for people in the community to refer to this information, and we won't put it up on the Hot Dispatch site, but whether make it available as part of the site as a reference or something other. This is the latest section that we can certainly make it available.
Can you say anything about the LOC of your company? Is it successful?
successful as an implementation. What we're trying to do, which is get people to understand the concept of paying for expertise, is still a challenge. I mean, we have a fair, I wouldn't say fair, there's been traffic, there's been tens of thousands of questions posted and closed over the course of the year, but our revenue model is mainly based on just very small transaction costs, so we're still not here having the volume to make a profit. But the general notion works very well. If you post a question, a difficult technical question on hot dispatch, you'll get a better answer, quicker answer than on any of these 20 questions. Let's say within the areas that there's support for development, there's probably about 25,000 Java developers on the site, and you can get very, very good value in terms of the work that people will do. Also, we can think of this is a global network, so people who are responding and earning money for former Soviet Union and India and other countries where $25 is really quite good.
Yeah, just a testimonial. I was just telling you yesterday, the job that I applied for the contract was, $1,000 minimum in the U.S. I just put it out for $100. $100, and the next day I got a solution to work with. I got to put it in that resume. So, trying to attend is a big deal.
I'll take one more question.
How much of the answer can you look at before you decide to accept it as an answer?
It depends. People, if it's a small amount of money and people just know the answer off the top of their heads, they'll take the risk and they look at your ratings, they can see that you're fair and you pay. They'll probably just give it to you. If it's something more complex, you probably do it as a project and have it back and forth with bidding. Or you might send someone the answer, just saying, I have the answer, here's a clue about it, and choose me and I'll do the whole thing. There's always an element of trust to these, relationships. The rating system goes a long way towards it. Let me do a quick announcement about MCL, Macintosh Common Lisp tool. But 5.0 is the 5.0 is the native is the native Mac OS X 10 native version. It's been under development for quite a while. And an announcement about it. We'll ship in January 2003 as a complete product. The data is available in a few days. When the data is available, it's pretty much finished. And of course, there's always going to be little last minute problems. So we definitely feel the public made quite a use of it at this point. The price is $750 for the full commercial license price. However, the public beta is offered at $495. That includes the final release when it's released. We have that as part of that cost. Educational institutions, students get 30% discount effectively. That all includes a year of technical support, patches. The beta will be available for purchase and download via Digitools Office on the Hot Dispatch site. That's the URL there, /Digitool. We can answer more detailed questions about this later on.
The upgrade? The 4.3?
Sorry?
Upgrade? Upgrade?
Do you want to talk about upgrades now or upgrade later?
What's the question on that?
Upgrade is there, again, 4.3.
If you already have a subscription, then this is both the beta and release counts as one release subscription. If you have 4.3 as you can purchase, you're not just now. So you at 4.3, okay. The reason for the price, the $495 price, is both to make it available early, and it's also the discounted advance price for existing users.
Oh, so that would be the commercial license.
Right, the $750 is the commercial license, $495 is when you purchase the
purposes of hot dispatch, you develop some additional utility tools like operational classified mapping and web server, things like that, all homegrown. Is there any effort to kind of package that up and funnel it back into MCL? Just add value?
Yeah, I don't know if too many of the modules would qualify as just a generic addition excuse me, to the language. We can certainly think about that. It's not clear whether we want to take a module and teach how to dispatch it and make it too public because it's a security. There's a security issue also. The nice thing about some list implementations is it's security for obscurity. There are a lot of hacker knowledge about how to penetrate risk-based websites as opposed to JSP and Apache. But we can certainly think about it if there's interest.